Hello, welcome. Glad you are joining us here. My name is Lisa Johnson Taylor, and I'm a psychologist in Minnesota. I've been practicing in the mental health field for over 30 years, and I got introduced to Sensorimotor a long time ago. I took my level 1 training in 2000 and fell in love with the work and have been very involved in the Minnesota trainings as an assistant and an organizer. And most recently, I have moved into the role of a sensory motor trainer faculty. But I'm here this morning with my friend and colleague, Molly DePrekel, because we wanted to share and talk a little bit about our authentic restoration workshops that we do and how we integrate sensory motor into our day-long workshops and retreats. And so after Molly introduces herself, we'll kind of talk about how this unfolded and what you can expect if you would come to one of our workshops. So Molly, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Lisa. I'm Molly DePrekel, and I'm really thrilled to be here. I, too, have been practicing in the mental health field for over 30 years. I like to say since the earth cooled. I have been incorporating sensory motor into my work, and I'm very happy to report I am finishing my consultant hours and going to be a consultant, and I'm thrilled to be supporting Lisa in her role of instructor now. It's been a beautiful journey to watch, and I'll be assisting when she does her first back in person in Minnesota in I think it's August, end of August. And I want to say too, the connections that we have made with our colleague Shelley Edwards, who's also a consultant in sensory motor work, have kind of transformed my work. I also do animal assisted interventions, and I work with dogs and horses in my therapy work. And the nature aspect that I have just delighted in, and the yummy sensory motor connections in my body, when Lisa and Shelley and I just started to hang out and be in the woods together, connect before COVID around the healing that we do in the natural world. And then all of a sudden it was like, people need this. We got to combine our sensory motor work with the natural world and our connection with trees and animals and nature. And through a time away where we were on our own retreat in northern Minnesota, we sat down and wrote some notes and on the car ride home put together the workshop. And I have loved being able to offer sensory motor and nature-based healing work with my beloved colleagues Shelley and Lisa, and our experience of our own healing. And what got me through the COVID experience was being in the woods, and I would go talk to the trees. And that has just empowered me to say, let's bring this nature-based healing to our colleagues. Let's bring the healing work that we have all received through embodied experience and sensory motor work. And it's been divinely yummy and lovely. And in my embodied experience, I'd say it's ooey gooey good. So that's kind of where I'm landing this morning, Lisa.
Yeah. Thanks, Molly. I feel the same. And I wish our friend and colleague Shelley could be here with us. She wasn't able to join us for this. But I'm going to talk about what it looks like in a day if you're going to come to one of our workshops, and kind of share too some of the pieces that Shelley does as well as Molly and I. And Molly, jump in anytime here.
I'm just going to apologize if you hear beeping in the background. The city has decided to tear up our driveway today to put in lines, so it might be loud, so I apologize. So hit it, Lise.
Okay. All right. So yeah, combining a bunch of our kind of backgrounds and history into these day-long workshops, we start out the morning when folks join us. We start at the morning with some kind of grounding, really just helping folks land there. Usually something that's helping them connect with nature, and then helping them kind of just land in the present moment, connection with themselves. And then as people land there, we start to, well, first we kind of speak a little bit about, Shelley will give a little bit of an introduction about what does it actually even mean to be in your authentic self and how do we get there. And so after we talk a little bit about that, we do a mindfulness-based inquiry into where are the stuck places? What's holding you back from being in your authentic self? And the way that we do that is both Molly and I are trained as yoga teachers, and we use some type of movement or a series of postures to help folks start to mindfully study where is the holding, where's the tension, or what are even the thought patterns as we move through these experiences that you're bumping up against, that you're feeling a little crabbiness or irritability. And through mindfulness, after we do the movement, then we would study, just like we do in Sensorimotor, we would study that experience that kept coming up throughout the practice. And then through a few steps to mindfulness, just get enough information to kind of go, oh, this is what it is. This is the thing that's kind of like keeping me from being in my fluid, flexible, kind of authentic self in relationship with the people I serve, the people I work with. I don't know if we said that we offer these workshops for helping providers, so therapists, teachers, anybody in the helping profession, nurses.
First responders.
Yeah, yeah. And so,
And Lisa, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to point out that we do have a guest speaker today. This is Willow, and she sometimes jumps in on telehealth and has to say hello. So this is my retired therapy dog, Willow, and she's taught me a lot about what it means to be embodied. And so just you can say hello on the screen to Willow, and I'll let Lisa keep talking.
yeah,
And I do want to add, Lisa, that oh, good, she's decided to sit down. When you say we study it through a lot of different experiential exercises, interactions, and so each workshop is unique to the season of the year, what we're doing, and how the body wants to move as you study. So it's not just that cognitive study, but the organicity of your body. So I wanted to add that to what you were talking about, and I actually love listening to you because I'm like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. I love doing that. It's a really cool thing. So take it away.
yeah, thanks for adding that, right? There's each workshop is different. We do different things, but there's a general kind of process that we follow of grounding and then accessing the stuck place, getting some information through mindful inquiry. And then our friend Shelley comes in, who is also certified sensorimotor therapist, and she does an experience of clearing. So helping the participants clear this experience that they found that's stuck, and she's done it in many different ways, in different workshops. It might be through some type of sound healing or drumming or element of fire. In one workshop, we put that stuckness in a rock and pitched it in the water that was at the place that we were doing our workshop at. So we work with, after accessing, then we clear it. There's a way that we start to clear it, which is a little bit different than sensorimotor. But after we clear it, later in the day, once that space has opened up in us, then we start to help the participant explore their resourced self. And we do that again through nature, um, helping folks start to mirror the rhythm, the cellular makeup, the kind of um, energetic connection with the trees, the earth, the water, the rocks, whatever is around that they're feeling drawn to. We leave space to guide them into that experience and find something that creates a shift in them. And then again, once they find it, it's like that's what we would do. Like in Sensorimotor, we'd frame that sense of well-being or that resource state, and then we'd expand it through the core organizers, and eventually getting to a place of making meaning of that. And so after we do that, then we have done an experience of helping folks integrate or anchor it in. And we've done different pieces to anchor it in. We've done some walking in the labyrinth. We've done some like movement with scarves and mirroring and relationship. We've done planting a seed. Yeah. So again, the way that it unfolds is different each time, but that's kind of the process that we go through. And so that we can eventually end with anchoring it in so that folks can take this new experience with them as they leave the workshop. And so it's been like so incredibly, I don't know, I guess I would say it's kind of powerful for me, just in general, doing any mindfulness based work in a group. That collective transformation that happens is just like just so amazing. And that's really like in the sensory motor trainings what happens over time too. What else would you add, Mal?
I would add that we allow space for some quiet time to connect with nature, some journaling, some group discussion, and people can add if they choose. I think the piece that's really powerful for me when you talk about that allowing of a different experience is really the difference for me, because I've gone to a lot of workshops as a psychologist. We've had to have lots of CEUs, but this is like when your body can shift and there can be an opening, it's almost like a neurological opportunity for a change. And I feel like the cells shift a little bit, and then that storing of that integration, where is that landing in your body? How can you walk differently in the world? Allows people to take not just the nugget of wisdom up here, but the nugget of wisdom that's also in your heart and in your gut, and maybe even in your big toe. And so that body awareness and that difference that the sensory motor resourcing brings, and for allowing people who are first responders, doctors, nurses, whoever shows up to be able to have some time for self and to walk away with a little nourishment and restoration and anchoring that in the body. You know, I think our biggest testimonial, Lisa, is that the people that are coming back. When is your next workshop? And I think, well, I'll save that, but that's kind of where I was. And for me,
What I heard you,
go ahead.
what I heard you say is through mindfulness, through sensory motor techniques, we help folks download at the state change, right?
Yep.
I heard you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I appreciate you finding the right language, because I'm in my like embodied, it's just really nice place. And I talking about this, I just feel an aliveness in my body that when I'm normally on Zoom, it just is more like this, and I feel that whole sensing system, because this is it's kind of like who I want to be in the world and how I want to help shift for others and be a presence of holding space for personal transformation and state change. I would add too that we like what we do so much that we have put together some retreats. And we're doing our first annual retreat in northern Minnesota in October. And if you're in Minnesota, we'd love to have you sign up. Um, and if there's opportunities for you around the country, around the world, we are really open to traveling to your area, to your nature spaces. And if you have a group of people that would like a workshop or a 2-day retreat, 2.5-day retreat, let us know, because um, we're so excited about what we do. And I feel like nature's cooperating with us to allow healing, which is so, for me, needed in this interesting time on the planet. And Earth has created a space for us to offer these workshops. So if you have a group, let one of us know. We would love to come and share and bring the wisdom of nature, bring the wisdom of sensory motor psychotherapy in our retreat style to your area. And exploring different places on the planet is always going to be interesting.
Yeah. And I heard you say that it's kind of like offering the gifts of sensory motor to the practitioner.
Yes,
Yeah.
because practitioners are working so hard right now. Um, so educators and, people who offer, healers for healing for the healers. And I feel gifted with my training in sensory motor psychotherapy, and to share that with others. When I went to my first training, missed the first workshop, but I walked in and Christina was one of my teachers, and I said, everybody was sitting on the floor, and I said, I think I'm in the wrong place. She said, you must be Molly, go find a back. And somebody said, come sit against my back. And I'm like, this is going to be interesting. And it was the most lovely place where I landed, and that I'm home.
Yeah. So as you say that, Molly, it makes me think about what we said earlier, that we're starting a training in the end of August here in Minnesota, and we would love for you to come and play with us in that training. So if you're around the area, look up the training. It would be fun to have you.
Yep.
So
So, Lisa, how do we find out about the workshops if we're interested?
okay, so you're talking about sensory motor workshops?
The workshop that you're doing in August, the
Yeah.
training, and then
Yep.
also the training that Shelly and you and I are doing. How do we find out about those also?
Let's start with sensory motor. You can go to the website, and you can go to upcoming trainings, and they'll all be listed there. We're also, if you're from Minnesota, we're doing an intro presentation on June 29th, just a 2-hour free presentation for anybody that's interested in learning about sensory motor. I'm doing that with another one of our friends and colleagues, Birgit Kelly. And then, so we'd love to have you come there or send your colleagues there to learn more about sensory motor. I don't know. I think Lindsay might be sending out a flyer about that. I'm not sure. We'll check with the Institute about that. And then, as far as our workshops and our restorative workshops, Molly, should we share about the website that should be up and running shortly?
Yep.
We have a website that's called Amidst the Trees, amidsthetrees.com, and you can find out about when our next workshop and retreat is happening. Our next day-long retreat is September 30th, and our next weekend retreat is October 7th.
Yep. And that website is in process of being finished. If you have further questions, you can always email Lisa or I. So my email is Molly. It's MOLLY at mwtraumacenter.com. And Lisa's email is
l.johnsontaylor@sensorimotor.org.
okay. So if you have questions, and if you need any consultation time too, if you're already in the training, Shelly, Lisa, or I'll offer that, and we would be happy to be helpful to you as you learn this vast amount of knowledge in sensory motor work. It's an amazing journey. So, Lisa, thanks. And I would just like to say I love the fact that you have some tree green around you in the background. So let's hear it for the plants.
And the rocks.
I love that.
And the rocks. Very good. All right, folks. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. And thanks for Lindsay for helping us do this Facebook post. And we appreciate you all at the Sensory Motor Psychotherapy Institute. So peace out.